Hey gang, it's your pal Rob again, and I've temporarily moved the playground to beautiful Colorado. In today's video, we're diving into a piece that's pretty special to me. Inspired by a photograph taken by a friend of mine, Bob Milkovich, this piece plays off an excerpt from a letter by Vincent Van Gogh to his brother early in his painting career. If you find these videos interesting, please do the like, comment, and sub thing. I'm also continuing to improve my Patreon, and I've added another tier to it. You can find that at patreon.com/RobsMentalPlayground. I've also modified my shop URL, taking the shop off of it. Simply go to RobsMentalPlayground.com and you can find all of my wares. Alright, that's enough of the business. Let's grab some colors, brushes, and get to painting. Let's go! The canvas has already been through its prime time, so let's begin applying some pigment. I'm using a sort of mega squeegee to drag the paint at this point in the piece. It creates a rough, primal texture that I happen to like. I'm beginning with some red and violet, which will contrast really well with the upcoming middle ground shapes. After layering a couple rounds of our base background, it's time to create a contrasting, abstracted bike shape. The bright teal color will create a sort of flat look, heavily inspired by Fauvists. I'm not going to get too detailed with this part of this piece because I want it to look raw and let the colors speak for themselves. Once I'm satisfied with the bike shapes, it's time to create our foreground flippy floppy. I draw a rough area where it will live and give it a couple coats of white, though I thin the paint to keep it from being entirely opaque. Masking time, you know it, you love it, and I make sure I have my liquid latex mask handy alongside my masking tape. Once the liquid mask is dry, I begin to drop in some skin tones. They're going to be very saturated in this piece. By now you're all probably aware of my drop the paint and manipulate style, and I'm going for it again in this piece. I begin to add in some darker hues to create some shadows. I realize that this style isn't the most accurate, but I've learned how to control it to some degree. After more layers of paint, you can begin to see the foot shape developing. Hope y'all like feet, I guess, because this is a big frickin' foot. Time to add some highlights, so I mask off some edges, then go in more accurately with lighter paint, manipulating it with my breath to get the effect I want. After this, it's time to make Bob's toenails look like super pretty and junk. Bob actually paints his toenails often, so this isn't unusual for him. It's time to add more detail to these piggies. They need some definition first, so after carefully masking the foot, I paint the sandal white to prep it for some shading. I use smaller squeegees to create some texture. I then grab a mixture of violet and Mars black, as well as some deep cadmium red as the color choices for some darker areas. I again drag the paint with a rough hunk of cardboard. Once this is done, I remove a bunch of masking tape. All that's left to do is add a strap to our flip-flop. I use a rough combination of titanium white and a medium cadmium red. With a signature and date in the corner, this piece is finished. The colors are incredibly bright and saturated, and I'm enjoying the various textures within it. What are your thoughts? Are you cool with a giant 3-foot, foot? That'll do it for this time lapse. Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can always support my Patreon and other social media platforms by searching Rob's Mental Playground. And my shop link is now RobsMentalPlayground.com. I hope you enjoyed your visit to the playground, and please, be kind to each other.